Today we have a brand new update from FLUX.2 Klein, like you can see here. I've actually got free access inside the playground here. I've been testing out, you can see here, and it is lightning fast for image generation. We'll also be testing it against Gemini and also ChatGPT image and just seeing how it performs. So you can see here, this was just announced a few hours ago, and they've said generate and edit in less than a second with state-of-the-art quality. Available now via API or fine-tune and run it locally. But you can also try it for free inside the playground here. You can see that I'm using it, and we're going to just be testing out. So you can see here, for example, one of the prompts I've used is cinematic medium shot, capturing nostalgic warmth of a vintage coffee shop, golden hour lighting streaming through dusty windows, shallow depth of field, film grain structure. Okay? And you can switch between Klein 9B or 4B, as you can see here. You've got a bunch of other models, but this is the new update, and then you can start using it from here. So it's FLUX.2 Klein, and it is crazy fast, crazy fast. So you can see here it's 30% faster than any other competing model, which I know a lot of people like because, you know, for example, it can generate images. Nobody likes to wait. So this is how you can use it. Now, you can get access inside the API as well. So you can start using it inside, for example, like NA10 and places like that. Or you can use it inside the playground, right? And you get instant access right here. And then you don't need to set anything up and you can just go straight from there. You can see some examples of images from the community right here, which is pretty cool. And you can actually grab the prompts and then test it out yourself. You can also run it locally and you can fine tune it. So for example, let's say you wanted to create an avatar or something like that. Well, you could create avatars and images using that. You could also use it on Hugging Face or GitHub, like you can see. So let's do another test here and I'll show you how quick this is, right? So for example, we are going to take this example like so. We'll go back to the prompts here. Make sure you've selected the right model. You can choose the dimensions as well here, so you can change the width and the height if you want to. And then you just type in your prompt over here. You can also change your presets and create your own presets too. And then you can upload this. And it's really fast as well for image editing too. But you can see here, I've just entered the prompt. Let's see how long it takes. Boom, there we go. We've got the images straight away, right? And they look pretty nice. They're pretty nice quality and that sort of thing. As you can see, it generates 4 at a time as well. And then, for example, if we were comparing this versus, say, ChatGPT and Google Gemini, let's try this. So we're going to go inside Gemini, use this prompt as well, inside ChatGPT, and we'll do the same prompt inside the playground here, and we'll see which one performs the fastest. I'm going to let Gemini and ChatGPT get the head start. So we're going to run the same prompt on each of these, and we'll see which one comes back the fastest, right? So you can see here is loading Nano Banana Pro. ChatGPT is creating the image. Flux is creating the image. Let's see. There we go. So we've got the images from Flux already. Gemini Pro is still taking a while, and so is ChatGPT. And ChatGPT tends to be faster these days than Gemini Nano Banana. But you can see that by a long, long way, the images from Klein are way, way faster, right? And also, if we check out the image quality here, you can see like the image quality is very similar, if not better, with Klein, right? So you can see like the aperture and that sort of thing inside them. If we compare this versus ChatGPT images, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I think Klein is definitely competing on that level. So it's pretty amazing what you can do. Karen says, this is insane. Something like that. And then Wilty says, cheers, Julian. So it is pretty amazing what you can do and how quickly you can do stuff like this. Let's try something else now. So I'm going to try image editing, right? So for example, what I can do here is I can say, okay, picture of a can of soda, something like that, right? And then we'll create a can of soda and then we'll create some edits with it in a second. Karen says, thanks for your help with Axio. Always happy to help. I'm glad that helped you. All right, so we've got an example soda right here. We're going to copy that image. We're going to paste it into the prompts right here. And we're going to say, okay, make this soda can underwater, right? And so we've got the original right there. And then we're going to use this prompt to quickly edit it. Any other AI tool for an e-commerce brand? Well, I'd recommend using, stuff like HeyGen is great for creating content, to get more customers. I guess with e-commerce, right, a big part of the game is making sure that you market your product as much as possible and you get as much attention to it. And so how do you do that? Well, you can create more content on other platforms. How do you do that? Well, you can use some of the systems like AI avatars or faceless videos, etc., inside the AI profit boardroom, and just use all of those avatar processes. That's what we do to get more traffic and attention, and it works really well. So here's the original, right? And you saw how fast this was. We created like a random can of soda, and then we put it underwater like so. It looks really cool. Here's the original. Here's a new one, right? It's pretty insane. And so you can create like images for ads and stuff like that pretty quickly and easily using this process. Let's see if it can work with people. One limitation that I'll say with this is that it's not very good with text, right? So one thing I actually tested earlier was, for example, like trying to create a Facebook ad with text inside it, but Klein is not very good at that at all. So let's have a look here. We'll go on the about. We'll take this image right here, paste this in. We'll say, make the soda can underwater with this man holding it. I'm not sure if that's going to work 100%, but we can test it out. It's always good to break it and see its limitations, right? So you can see here, we've originally got a can, then we put it underwater. Whoa. And then we got this guy holding it. That's pretty crazy. That is pretty impressive, right? It doesn't quite look like me, but this is an AI sort of image anyway. But you can see here, we've got the can and the man, and then the man holding the can underwater, right? So you can easily create like UGC style ads using this process, as you can see right here. Now it was incredibly easy. Let's see if we can take it one step further. So we're going to say, make the soda can underwater with this man holding it, and make the man's hair green. And let's see what we got here. There we go. Look at that. So we got the can, the man, the can with the man underwater, and he's got green hair. I will say the face gradually gets more and more distant from the original, but it's pretty much there, right? Pretty much there. Even, for example, like if you look how many fingers we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, finger count is okay. So no problems with that, no issues. And you can see how easy that was to do, right? And again, as far as I'm aware, we're using this for free. Let me just check my account here. Oh, I've got a few credits in there. That might be why. So we're just rinsing the credits there. But yeah, pretty simple and easy. Let's try this one. What premium subscriptions you have for AI tools? So that tends to change week to week. And one thing that I do is inside the AI profit boardroom, if you go to the Start Here post, link in the comments and description, or just go to aiprofitboardroom.com. And if you check out the links inside here, we actually have a list of my updated tools list, right? So this is a list of tools I personally use, so you don't feel overwhelmed. So if you want to get all my best systems, playbooks, etc., it's all inside the AI profit boardroom right there. I will say the number one tool that I'm using right now, for sure, is Claude. Claude is just unbelievably good. But if you want to see more playbooks, more systems, and a full comprehensive list of tools, check out the AI profit boardroom. Okay, so you can see how easy it is to use, super fast. I do like the fact as well that it can create images really quickly, super fast, as you can see. I'll be interested to know if it can actually edit like thumbnails and stuff like that. So let's try that out. And bear in mind, like you can host this locally, which means that you can fine tune it. So if you have a certain avatar that you want to use or something like that, you can easily do that. So we're going to upload a thumbnail. like so. All right. We're going to say, okay, change the background to bright neon colors. See what we get back there. All right. So can it generate thumbnails, for example? So I've added some more credits now. By the way, if you're wondering like what the pricing is for this, here you go. All right, so you can see the pricing and the credits and the cost. Boom, look at that. That's looking super nice. Wow. All right. So you can see an example of the only criticism I would say there is like that might be slightly hard to read, but which one stands out more? Which one's going to get more attention? I would say it's this one for sure. Plus, you can edit these super fast, really easy to do, and then you can build a tool that generates, for example, like new variations of your old thumbnails. And the same, for example, with Facebook ads, with creatives for YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn, etc. You could easily generate variations using this, and then you could build a custom built open source version of this. So it's really, really cool. You see how fast and easy it was to generate. Again, you do have to get credits to test this out, but so far so good. And also like the fact that, you know, if you don't want to host it locally, it's accessible for anyone just by going to the playground instead, right? Now, you'll see at the bottom here, you've got like all these different options as well. So, for example, you've got like real-time city infographics, coordinates to scene, hexacolor palettes, right? So if you want like a preset, you can see some examples right here, right? So, for example, move camera. Move the camera to reveal new aspects of a scene, get bird's eye views, low angles, side portraits, and more, right? And so you can switch between all the different scenes and the angles right here, and then you can upload an image. So let's test that out. So we're going to take an AI generated image of me. Let's upload that. All right, and then we're going to apply the preset. Now we're going to hit enter. That's actually using FLUX.2 Max, by the way. So that preset is based on FLUX.2 Max, which is not the new Klein version. So you can see why it takes. I mean, the difference in speed is huge, right? This is taking a lot longer to generate. And in the meantime, if you haven't already, check out the AI Success Lab, completely free, link in the comments description. It's got links to all the tools and all the platforms that I've mentioned today. It shows you how to set it up as well. And then also what I've included is a 30-day plan on exactly how to use it, plus a bunch of prompts so you can use it as well, right? So if you're wondering, okay, like how do I run this locally, blah, 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 you can actually set this up with Hugging Face, like you can see, and then you can run it from there. So here's the new version. Bear in mind, we had the old picture, and then this is the new picture with the bird's eye view, right? So you can see this is the old one, this is the new one, pretty insane. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, check out the notes of this video inside the AI Success Lab. It's a completely free community that connects you with 46,200 members, like you can see. And you can post inside the community. You can connect with all these AI builders. You get all of my free courses, like you can see on AI SEO or how to learn AI automation, or even the latest updates from January 2026, including all the video notes from today. And if you want to join a community for AI automation that shows you how to save time, scale your business, use all the systems that work for me, figure out what tools are the best for you, then you can get that all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And inside the AI Profit Boardroom, you get this daily accountability group. You get a community where you can ask questions and get help and support, like you can see. So here's a question where someone's actually asked a question and I've personally got back to them on how to use it. You can get weekly coaching calls. So you can jump on the coaching calls live inside the AI Profit Boardroom, ask any questions you have, get help and support live with an actual AI automation expert. And then also inside the classroom here, we'll show you how to go from complete beginner to expert with AI, plus how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Top of that, you'll get our best automations for faceless AI avatars, automations on X. You'll learn how to automate your shorts and Instagram, and you'll learn how to actually automate faceless AI videos like I do, right? Additionally, you learn how to get clients inside our agency course. You'll get the Q&A call recordings if you can't watch them back, if you can't join them live, and also our best automations for AI SEO, and also a 6-week roadmap for learning and using YouTube to grow your business too. So that's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Feel free to get it, link in the comments description, or go to aiprofitboardroom.com. So today I'm going to show you everything that I know about Google Antigravity and how to use it. If you've never used Antigravity before, you can navigate to antigravity.google. This is one of the most powerful ways to build and vibe code out anything that you want for free, right? And you can download it at antigravity.google. Has all sorts of powers, including, for example, the ability to control your browser. It can use agents to save skills and workflows. You know, if you wanted to launch and deploy a new website, you can. If you want to connect this to Claude or OpenCode or Client, you can do that. And you can also use MCPs to build databases and login pages using Antigravity. So we're going to get straight into this, and I'll show you exactly how to use it from start to finish and go from beginner to expert. So if you've never tested this out before, you can see an example of what we've built right here. And if we go to our previous conversations, we can look at the previous conversations over here. So how do you get started? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to open up a new window, right? Like you can see. And then you are going to click on open folder, right? Now inside here, you're going to start building out the project that you want to build. So let's say, for example, I need to build out a tool for AI profit ordering members, right? And we're going to open up that folder. And then inside this folder, we can start vibe coding out our project, right? So the way that I would do this is to figure out, okay, what's actually useful to build for, for people inside my community. I can take all the information from here, and then I can go into Claude, right? This is the first place I'd start before you even go into Antigravity. And you would just say something like, okay, what's a useful mobile app that's simple plus easy to use that would help my community members, right? And you would say something like, okay, keep it simple, give me a few ideas, etc. Right? And we've plugged in information about our business, and then we're going to use this prompt to generate some ideas, right? Now, inside the free notes from today, I've actually got a 2-hour course on how to use Antigravity, but I'm also going to include some of the prompts that we use for this as well. All right. So you can see an example right here. So we've plugged that in, we've got the prompts, and from here, we are going to get some ideas from Antigravity, right? So for example, it could be the win logger or the SOP swap. It could be the automation accountability, right? This one actually sounds really cool because it's like a accountability group for people learning AI automation, right? And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, okay, give me a prompt for Google Antigravity to build out this idea quickly. All right. And what we're going to do is build out this automation accountability group. People can set the hours saved, a quick daily check-in, a community leaderboard, and the benefits, right? And so we're going to say build a mobile responsive web app, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take this, right? So we're going to copy that. We'll go over to Antigravity. We'll build this out. And I'll say, make this a mobile app for iOS store, something like that. Right? Now, you can switch here between planning and fast. Planning is basically just getting a to-do list and an implementation plan, which I'd highly recommend doing before you get into building anything, or you can go straight into action mode and start building this out. So I'm going to go with planning. I'm going to stick with Gemini Free Flash, but you can get free access to Claude Sonnet, Opus, Gemini 3 Pro, and we're going to go with that, right? So I've now plugged this in and we're waiting for this to load. And essentially, this is going to begin to envision the app, analyze it. It's going to navigate to the folder that we've created. And from here, we're good to go. All right. Now, whilst we're waiting for that to load, let me tell you about a few other features inside here. Right. And actually, what you can see already is we've got the implementation plan, right? So it's got the planning, design, core implementation, the polish, and the animation. Now, if you're not familiar with Antigravity and Google Antigravity, over here, this is a chat where you talk with the agent and you just talk in plain English. So you don't need to be a coder. You don't need to understand HTML or anything like that. You just build this out, right? Now, in the middle, we have the actual project files. And then over here, we have the actual folder with timelines, outline, etc., and the files that we built, right? So this is kind of like how you can navigate the architecture. Then you've got the individual files that you can check out right here, right? And now you can see here, it's beginning to edit the tasks and it's beginning to tick them off, right? So it's currently working on the HTML structure and Tailwind integration, right? So we've gone from no idea to having a bunch of ideas to finding a prompt to putting that prompt into Antigravity, right? And then we've actually got Antigravity to start creating the project, as you can see right here. And it's already created this accountability app that we can use, right? Now, it's testing it out. So you can see here with the blue barrier, the blue outline, right? You can see that the agent is testing this out. So from here, we're going to go back to Antigravity like so. And this is going to start building out the project, right? So you can see it's not actually me that's typing on this browser. it's the AI agent, and it's just testing out, okay, does this work, does this not, etc. Right? And then it's going to add the details, as you can see right here. It's got the streak, it's got the name of the person. We will have to add a database to this in a second, but I'll show you how to do that and how to deploy it as well to the web. And now you can see that the progress bar is actually working and everything else. Someone commented that they actually started using this because of my latest videos. So I really appreciate that. And I'm glad that it's helping you. But you can see how powerful this is now, right? Now, this is just dummy data. So you can see it's got data inside here, but this is all like test data. It's not like fully live or anything like that just yet. But I'll show you how to set up the database in a minute and to get it organized. You can also see that we've got the app. So it's got, for example, this app style, as you can see right here. And then we're going to go from here and we'll click confirm and keep going, right? And you can see now it's actually ticked off most of the actions inside the app, right? So it has already planned and designed it, done the core implementation, polished it with animation, and then it's verified it as well, right? And it's beginning to log the hours, test out, etc., right? And then you can see at the bottom, it's got the check-in, the global section, and the goal section as well of this app. So you can really build something from nothing just using this process. Now, if you want to see another example of this running, let me show you another example, right? So this is actually, oh, and then it's got the confetti animation when it actually loads, right? So sometimes when you're working on another project, this will just pop up because the agent is testing out using it, right? But you can see here we have another app, which is a Tetris game with a block, right? Now, basically what we've done with this, if we have a look at previous conversations, we actually added a leaderboard inside this using Superbase, right? So we created this Tetris game, as we can see right here. We said build out a Tetris game, then started implementing it. And then over here, created the files, right? And then what we actually asked it to do was deploy it to Netlify using the MCP, right? So it deployed it to Netlify, which means that we can actually test out the app on a live page, right? So if we go to this page, we can actually navigate to our live project from Antigravity. This means you can deploy apps directly to Netlify, right? And you could deploy it to a custom domain. You don't have to use a subdomain like this, right? Now, also, what we've done over here is we created a database with Superbase, which means that there's a live leaderboard, people can log in, save the login details, etc. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. So if we go back to this tool right here, you can see the recording of the AI agent testing this out, right? So this is actually a recording that just ran in the background whilst I was talking to you for our brand new project for the accountability tracker, right? Now we can accept all the changes over here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, using the Superbase MCP, add a login page to this app, right? Now, one thing to note here, before you start using the MCP servers, which just connect Antigravity to all these external tools, you want to make sure that you've installed them. How do you do that? So if we go through the list right here, you can see, for example, if we wanted to install GitHub and deploy to GitHub or pull in repositories from GitHub, then we can use a GitHub MCP server. And we would just click on install, like you can see here. I'm not going to do that, but what I am going to do is add a database and a login page to Antigravity, right? And Superbase is free to use. You can install the Superbase MCP using that list that I just showed you. And then you're going to say, using the Superbase MCP, add a login page to this app. We're going to switch now to fast, and we'll get this to start setting up, right? You can also resize these pretty quickly if you want to. And also, if you want the agent to run automatically, then you just go to your Antigravity settings, like you can see right here, and you would just click and toggle most of these on so that it can actually fix things in the background whilst you're doing other stuff, right? So the agent essentially becomes more autonomous because it doesn't rely on you just clicking a button like accept, 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 right? Which would be super annoying if the AI relies on you to approve everything as you go along. So, if it's something simple where the AI agent can handle it without you, then you can use that feature to just auto correct and fix things, right? So it's now using the MCP tool, is editing the index HTML, it's going to start adding a login page, etc., using Superbase. And now it's set up. All right. And you can see we've actually got a project URL for the database, right? So you can edit the database and see it right there. It's also quite a good way to build out lead magnets. If you have a login page, you can collect people's emails and that sort of thing. And then you can use that for retargeting them on the email list as well later. So now we can test this out. I say, okay, test this out for me. And it's going to go to the login page for using this, right? And just see if it actually works. Now, before we actually do that, what I'm actually going to do is stop that. I'm going to deploy it to a live subdomain just to test this out, all right? So we're going to say, okay, deploy this to a live subdomain using Netlify MCP, right? And then what we can actually do is take the project and the database and the app that we've built and deploy it to a live website. So we're going to wait for that to load now, and that's beginning to do it so. You can see here, it's just beginning to use the Netlify MCP. You can always click on show details if you want to. And another thing that you can actually do is you can export the project. So if you want to build with it somewhere else, you can. You can check out the customizations and the MCP service as well over here. And now you can see this is beginning to load, right? So if we go on here, now you can see the domain is not a local one, right? So it's not hosted locally inside my laptop anymore. It's actually hosting it inside Netlify, right, with the project files. Perfect. So if we go back to Antigravity now, it said live deployment. The application has been successfully deployed. And now the cool thing is it's got Superbase authorization. It's got that mobile first design. It's got the dashboard, gamification leaderboard. And it's got tracking data locally isolated by our Superbase ID, right? Now, you could open this inside mobile as well. And then if you wanted to test this, as a mobile responsive app, you would just add it to the home screen, right? This live URL. So you open it on your phone, tap the share button, and then add that to home screen. And that will actually create like a mobile app on your home screen as well, right? So if we go back to here now, right, to this page, we're just going to try and log in. So I'm going to click on create account. And we just have to test this out. Bear in mind, MCP servers are not perfect, so it doesn't always work, but let's test it out. Just going to see if we've got the email to log in. And if it doesn't work, we're going to say, okay, the login page / create account section isn't working. Can you help? And it's good for you to see this because you can see where it breaks, where it's not perfect, what sort of errors you might typically come across, especially when setting up the login page, which is a little bit more technical than the rest of the stuff. And so now it's going to begin to test this out. Now, whilst we're waiting for that to load and fix, which might take a few minutes, what I'm also going to show you is some other features that you can use inside Antigravity, right? So some people will complain, oh, you don't get enough limits, or, there's limits on the APIs, blah, blah, blah. Number one, I've never really come across that using Gemini Flash. So that's just something to bear in mind. It's like, I've never really hit the limit on Gemini Flash. If you do, you can switch over to GPT OSS, or you can use Claude Opus, which is a more powerful API, or you can use Gemini 3 Pro, high or low, right? So if you hit the limits somewhere, you can just use the next one and keep going for free, right? The other option that you have is you can go to extensions over here and you can use something like Klein, right? And Klein allows you to basically use Klein and its abilities to code directly inside the extensions. You can also use stuff like open code. Open code is pretty good. Open code allows you to code too. And the other extension, and by the way, open code and Klein, they both have free APIs. You can also use RU code because essentially Antigravity is just like, it's almost like a copy of VS Code, but it comes with built-in APIs and also the agent usage and also the skills usage, right, inside Antigravity, which I'll come into in a minute, right? Um, so you can code for free with these as well, right? Now, if we go inside the terminal here and we go to new terminal, right, we can also run Claude code directly inside Antigravity too. So if you want to add like the finishing touches, I wouldn't recommend building from scratch. Otherwise, you might as well just use Claude code. But if you want to add like some finishing touches to your project that you've built in Antigravity, you can just go inside the terminal here, new terminal. So go to terminal, new terminal, type in Claude, and then you can start building with that, right? Like you can see. So, for example, if you want to improve the UI, well, you could do that inside the terminal here, whilst you're coding and testing with the AI over here as well, right? Now, also, what you can do, the other way you can use this is if you open up Claude Desktop, right? And if you're a Max user, you can actually create projects with Cowork, right? And then you can launch those inside Antigravity. So, as an example of that, if we go inside the left hand side here, and bear in mind, Claude Cowork itself is a brand new AI agent you can use locally that connects with your browser, but can also build stuff locally, like you can see. We could, for example, go inside here, create the project like you can see. So, this is the HTML file, right, for the project. And then you can say, okay, open this project slash folder with anti-gravity. And then it will run a command to start opening that up. And so you can use the power of cowork for coding a project out from scratch, and then you can open up the actual outputs with anti-gravity later. If you have any errors, for example, like this one, then you can screenshot it, go back to anti-gravity and say fix this. So we'll stop that, add that screenshot. So for example, here you can see that we said make a prototype of a new website, ask any clarifying questions inside Claude Cowork. And then we can click on open in anti-gravity, and you can open up your folder locally inside anti-gravity, right? So you can see here it coded out the JSX, and then you've got the option to open it here. So to do that, you just go to a new task, working folder, choose a different folder. Take an example like that, always allow, paste that in, boom, let's go. Then you can choose like what style you want, etc. We'll hit submit, and it will start to code this out. And then boom, we're in, right? So we've logged in now. That did take way longer than I've ever expected inside the app, to be honest. But you can see here, I've logged in now. We can plug in our name. We can plug in the hours we saved, log the entry. We've got the global leaderboard, like you can see. We've got the daily goal, and then we've got the check-in here. So this is the mobile app ready to go. We can track our current progress. We can log in new hours. So let's put 10 here, or let's put 1,000 here. And then we'll say, okay, we automated faceless AI avatar videos. Hit log entry. Progress has been logged. Nice little confetti. Go to global. Boom, top of the leaderboard. So the database is working. We've logged in nicely. We can reset all our data or sign out if we want to. And that's launched on a subdomain. So just to recap there, we've even got the one-day streak. So to recap, we had no idea what to build. Claude gave us the ideas. Claude gave us the prompts. We plugged that into Antigravity. We launched and deployed it to a subdomain. We added the database for the login. We tested if the leaderboard and everything else works. And we created a simple mobile app, as you can see, right? Now, let's say, for example, you want to take it a step further. Well, you could always go into Claude and say, okay, improve the UI so it's more fun and dopamine inducing, etc. Plus addictive, whatever. And like a game, right? And then what that'll do is actually take the project files from the whole project that Antigravity has created, but using Claude, which is like a superior AI, particularly Claude Code, then it will look through the Claude code base, analyze what to improve, and say, okay, do you want to improve this, yes or no, right? So you can see here, for example, said, do you want to proceed inside the terminal? We'll click yes, and then we're good to go on that, right? Now, inside the chat here, what we can also do is say, okay, how to package this up to submit to the iOS store. And you can see here, it basically tells you exactly how to submit this to the Apple Store. So if you actually wanted to create an app from scratch for free, build it in like what it's taken us about 35 minutes today. You can submit a responsive mobile app to the App Store. And basically what you're going to do is use something called Capacitor, right? And this takes the code that you have, so the HTML, the CSS, the JS, and it packages it into an iOS project that can be opened in Xcode. And when it's packaged into that, then you can submit it to the App Store, right? So what do you need? You need a Mac with Xcode, Apple developer account, Node.js. Then you're going to prepare the project files. Then you're going to initiate Capacitor, and then you open it in Xcode. Make sure it works. You can set like the app icons, the signing in capabilities, deployment, etc. And then basically just go from there, right? So that's how easy it is to create an app, build it, set it up from scratch, deploy it, link it to MCPs, and use Claude to add like the finishing touches and just take it to a whole new level, right? Also, if we go back to Claude to Claude here, you can see that with that brand new prompt that we plugged in just a few minutes ago, it's now created a project, as you can see, for our website, which we can then open up in Antigravity as well. So you can link this directly to Antigravity, right? And then if we open up the project files, we've got the game right here, ready to go, right? So it's incredibly easy to do this once you get your head around it, but it does take a bit of practice. So what I've actually done is I packaged this into a free course, number one. So you can get a free 2-hour course inside the AI Success Lab, link in the comments description. And then what you'll see here is that we've actually got the build, test, deploy workflow, which is what you saw today. We have 3 key steps, right? So you build, you test, and you deploy it with the MCP servers. You've got 3 tools that can work together. And you've got a 30-day implementation plan for really learning how to set this up inside your business, and also a bunch of prompts that you could try out for building and testing whatever you want, right? Now, bear in mind, I don't know any code. I can't read or write code. I wouldn't know where to get started with a HTML file, to be honest, but I can easily set this up and go ahead, right? And you can see here, for example, if we wanted to start setting up capacitor folder structure inside Antigravity, it can actually install the dependencies for you and do everything from there, right? Plus, you can use free APIs because it's basically like a copy of VS Code, but with the extra additions of Google Gemini and all the free APIs plus the AI agent, and you can go from there, right? One final thing that I want to show you, which is pretty cool, if you go to past conversations over here. So if you go to the time section, top right, you can then switch over to the other app, right? So for example, here, we can open this up. This is a previous conversation. And what we've actually said is, let me show you. Is create a skill, right? So kind of similar to how you can create skills and save them inside Claude Code, you can do the same inside Antigravity, right? And what that means is like anything that you repetitively do with the app, with the website, with projects that you do in general. So for example, for me, it could be plugging in information about the AI profit boardroom. It could be, for example, improving the UI. It could be writing and posting blog posts, right? Whatever the skill is, you can actually create it inside Antigravity and it will save and build out skills for you, right? So you can see here, I've said create a new skill called SEO article writer, pasting in a long prompt with all my funnel links and the style that I like to write. And then it actually created this file called SEO article writer MD, right? And what it does is it puts it into a skill that you can save and call upon in the future, right? So you can see here, for example, it talks about my voice, tone, language, format, length, output, the guidelines for writing SEO content, my funnel links that I want to funnel traffic to on my website, the article structure, and also the constraints, right? So things to avoid. And you can see here, it's now ready to write. So anytime I call upon that skill, it will actually use it to create articles. So you can see here, for example, I put the keyword, which is Tetris tips for beginners, and then called the skill, which is SEO article writer, which is saved in a .md file. And then it's actually written out the blog post, like you can see here, and posted it, right? Which is pretty insane. So you can do all of this inside Antigravity. I haven't really found any limitations with Antigravity, to be honest, especially if you're using something like Claude Code to assist you. But that's basically how you can use all of this stuff. So it's really amazing what you can do and how you can use it and everything else. And you've seen exactly how to set this up directly today. Then you can see Claude Code has finally finished coding these UI improvements out, right? And we're going to deploy the new code to the page, right? So it's creating like an achievement badges system as well to just gamify our app. And so like, if you're using MCPs and then Claude Code and then you're using the APIs and you're using a bit of Claude Cowork, I've not found any limits to building with this. Particularly, I mean, if you don't already know, Claude Cowork, which is an AI agent on your laptop, this was built with Claude Code itself in like a week and a half. And so, if you're using Claude Code to assist you, it's insane what you can do. And there's really no limit to doing this, right? So we can say, okay, open this up now. And we can open up the new HTML. And you can see we've now got a new version of the app, like you can see. And then you can see it's now improved a lot. We can plug in our name. And it's actually got sound effects on there as well. I'm just going to mute that. And then it said begin quest, right? So you see how this is just a lot more fun and animated versus before. And then we've got the ranks. We now have the badges, right? So for example, first steps, on fire, weak warrior, unstoppable, getting started. We have a nice little settings section as well over here. We have the ranks, which just look 10 times better versus before. And then we have the quest section over here, right? And so we've just made the app 10 times more playable and interesting versus before. So that is basically everything that I know about Antigravity that I've summed up. I mean, I spend about 80 hours a week testing these AI automation tools and absolutely love Antigravity. I think it's one of the best ones out there. If you want to get a free 2-hour course on exactly how to use it, plus all the resources and links from today, plus a 30-day plan and the build, test, deploy workflow that I've shown you today, you can get that inside the AI Success Lab, which is a free community for AI automation with 46,200 members. So you can get that inside here. And then you can get all of my free courses as well. See, for example, you can see the you can get all of the latest updates from January. You can see how to rank with AI SEO, and this is all inside the AI Success Lab. On top of that, if you haven't already, check out the AI Profit Boardroom, which is an amazing AI automation community I run with over 2,100 serious entrepreneurs who are focused on growing and scaling their business and saving time with AI automation. It includes all the playbooks that I personally use for my business. You can post inside the community, get help and support whenever you need it. You can go inside the classroom here and you can learn how to go from like complete beginner to expert in just 5 weeks with AI automation, plus how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. You'll learn how to automate faceless AI avatar videos based on what's working for me and my YouTube channel. You can go down here and learn how to get clients for your agency. You learn how to rank #1 inside AI with AI SEO, and also our full 6-week roadmap on exactly how to do YouTube based on how we've grown and scaled our channel, right? Now, also inside the calendar here, you get 4 coaching calls per week. So 4 coaching calls per week where you can jump on a call live, ask any questions you have, meet the community, get support and help. And if you can't make the calls, no problem, because you can actually watch them back inside the recording section here. So everything you need to really succeed with AI, including a daily accountability group, is all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You can get that link in the comments description or go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.